if I quit, what would young Flo say?
Yeah.
If I quit, what would old Flo say?
Yeah.
The fear was like, is that going to just be my life? Like, I'm looking at them like, this can't be me.
What did you do after basketball?
She told me, she's like, Flo, you're not always going to be a ball player. So you better start doing other stuff. When I first went to Ghana, I saw the passion in the players. And I was like, if I want to coach, right? Because my coach has poured into me. I said, I can only give my energy to players like this. Show me like a different side of Africa. I'll just look. And I'm like, damn, this place is beautiful. If you want to find a wife, you can find one. Find one. But they're not saying visit Rwanda for no reason.
Is there any words of encouragement?
You find your purpose to whatever you're passionate about. Your passion doesn't have to lie with one thing.
Hi guys, welcome back to Moments with Joe. Today we have a very, very special guest. We have Dzaflo Larkai, who's actually an international NBA scout and also an assistant coach to the South Sudan team. So say hi to Dzaflo. So guys, today it's so interesting. I'm gonna ask him a few questions about his childhood, basketball life, after basketball. So yeah, let's get into it. I just want to know, like, how did you grow up? I want to know, like, how did you grow up? How did basketball become, like, something interesting for you? Like, how did you start?
Born and raised in South London.
Okay.
I jumped straight to basketball, so I didn't come from, like, an athletic family.
Okay.
I found it because my older brother, he played in school.
Yeah.
So I might have been, like, 10 years old, something like that.
Okay.
And so his high school and my middle school were next to each other.
Okay.
And so I would wait for him, then we walk home because home wasn't too far.
Okay.
And he'd stay after school and play and get games, and I watched and just like, it's like, what is this?
Yeah.
And then I saw like some clips from like the 93 Bulls. This is maybe like 95 or something of Bulls. And I was intrigued so much.
Yeah.
And then from like 96, I think.
Yeah.
I was at 14, 15.
Okay.
And then I had grown some. So at this time, I'm like 6'4", 6'5". Like, people like, you're tall, man. You should take this seriously, that kind of thing.
Okay, I just want to say, like, you are actually the tallest Ghanaian person I've met, like, guy I've met.
There's a couple of us. There's not many of us, but there's a couple of us. Yeah,
but you're the first one that I've met that was so tall, so I just had to say that.
So now it started with that, and it's been like a love story, to say ever since.
So when did you feel like you wanted to take it, like, seriously and make it, like, your job, or was it more out of passion that you started and then?
It was passion. Like, I wanted to see how far I could take it.
Yeah.
And then I guess just go from there. I had a cousin. I say he passed away, brain tumor. He was a few years older than me. And it was his passion to play pro. And then when he passed when I was 16, I always felt like I want to take it seriously. Yeah. So like, it was many of my teams, I wore number 33. Okay. Because his favorite player was Grant Hill. He wore 33, so I used to wear 33. Okay.
Oh, that's lovely. So was your family also always supportive of your choices when it came to basketball? No?
Nah. Because they just feel like, when you start playing, you're going to forget education.
Yes. Yeah.
So there was that battle. Like, no, I promise. I get good grades. I did. Yeah. And the thing is, I did.
Great.
My GCSEs were good. These are the high school exams in England. I went to college, university. I was on the dean's list. I was on the honor roll.
Yeah.
I got my master's. So I was able to convince them that as long as you let me play, I'll get the education right.
And where were the first places you played in, like, that were outside of London?
The first was in the US. I went to prep school.
Was that like a cultural shock or no? It
was because I was in like the middle of nowhere.
Okay. It wasn't like a city that's like...
it was a place called Washington, Connecticut.
Okay.
Trees, long roads, not very diverse.
Okay. And then after that, you also played for a long time in Japan, right?
7 seasons in Japan.
How was that?
It was fun. It was fun because I won,
Okay.
My first 3 years, I won 3 championships in a row.
Wow.
And then like you realize that the people there, like, they loved what you did.
Yes.
I had like real fans, for the first time.
Yeah.
People that would ride for you, buy your jersey, like autographs and pictures.
I know.
Obviously the language barrier was always an issue.
Yeah. How was that?
Google Translate wasn't like it was now.
Yes.
But we had translators that would help us out. But it was, it was a good mix of professionalism and just being embraced. Like when I go home to London, nobody really cared.
I see what you mean. But did you feel like you had a family out there for all those years that you spent?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
It was always my teammates.
Oh, you were able to, connect through them.
Yeah.
But, so you spent 7 years there and maybe other places as well. I just want to know, do you feel like you missed out on some parts of your life because you were playing basketball?
Yeah. So like family.
Yes.
I never spent birthdays with them. So birthdays, Christmases, at a time lost meaning because I was always alone.
Yes.
And then creating a family.
Yes.
It is very difficult to maintain a relationship at distance. Like Japan to London is not.
Yeah.
That's like a 12-hour flight.
Oh, wow.
Even London to the States is difficult. Those things. But it shaped me. So it's not about missing out so much. There's kind of timing.
Okay. Because I feel like usually people, in their 20s, end of 20s, their friends get married. I don't know, sometimes in the beginning of the 30s, parents die, aunties, I don't know what. So yeah, usually people just want to be around their family. So I can imagine that was hard for you in that time. But I was actually also wanted to tap into the part of where you said about relationships. What makes it so hard for you? Like being, obviously there's a distance, but is it also like the schedule? It's
a schedule. So especially when I was in Japan, you are there as an entertainer, right? So when there's usual holidays, that's when you're playing. And then when I'm dating somebody, she's usually doing something too. So her schedule doesn't permit for her to just come out. I was able to maintain one when I was out here because she was mixed, she was from there.
Oh, okay.
But even that doesn't, because once the season's done, there's no guarantee you'll come back.
Yes.
It's like, okay.
Oh, there's always that uncertainty, I guess.
And that's what I faced for many years.
Wow. So do you feel like it did kind of make you a better man now, though, looking back? Like the fact of you being abroad, or even the relationships that you maintained outside of love relationships. Did you feel like you were able to connect with them through, I don't know, FaceTime back then, or
FaceTime was
communicate,
a thing, texting, Skype, MSN Messenger, even. I'm showing my age here. It does shape you because you meet different people from different cultures.
Yes.
And you're having to learn to adapt and interact with them in different ways.
Yeah.
Creative ways to make things work when there's that kind of distance.
How do you feel like you can show up for those, that play abroad? How do you feel like you can show up to the people that matter to you, but from a distance?
Being intentional with how and when you communicate.
Okay.
Making sure that the communication doesn't turn into something mundane. How's your day? It can get like that,
Yeah.
Involving them with your day-to-day stuff. So like when I'm traveling, you might call them, they can see you. I might be in a photo shoot.
Yeah.
I'm on my way to a game, so they're just part of the process.
Okay, I see. And so I feel like I want to know, what was your favorite memory when you were still playing?
As a player?
Yeah, as a player, what was the moment that you thought wow, I'm so happy that this is what I do?
Probably after winning my first championship in Japan.
Okay.
Yeah, we played the championship game in Tokyo, South Arena. And I had a very poor first half.
Okay.
And my team was like, Flo, we need you.
Yes.
I was able to like respond. I finished with like 20 and 10.
Yeah.
And we won the game like convincingly. And it was like, I was like, yo, I'm in it. You know what I mean? That kind of thing, you know?
Exactly.
That was the first.
But I can also imagine maybe with like, you know, injuries and everything, was there a moment where you thought like, oh, this is it, like I'm not?
Multiple times. Torn ACL, 3 torn meniscus, torn bicep,
wow.
Injuries. You question why so many times. And the worst part you'll get to is when you feel like your body is giving up on you.
Yeah.
But then like you find strength somewhere.
I know. What's like your place you find strength, or what kept you going, or what gives you strength?
So there's 2 places, 3. First is with family, you know, my mom especially.
Yeah.
I'm very, very close to my mom. The Most High gives you strength, and He's always there. And then I have conversations with myself, like 2 versions of myself, with my past and my future. So like, if I quit, what would the young Flo say? Yeah. If I quit, what would old Flo say? Yeah. So like, you keep going for them, you know?
Yeah. Being your hardest critic, sometimes it is the best thing to do, I would say. But also, when you were still playing and thinking about, you know, life after, did you feel scared in some way, or just like doubtful? Yeah.
Of course. Because you're like, all right, there's 2 things. There's like, can I carve out a successful career in whatever it is? Would I fall into the rat race and then I'm just working? And that's it. Like that. The fear was like, is that going to just be my life? Like, because I would go, when I was out of school for a couple of years. To immigration stuff, some other stuff. And then I would go from New Jersey to New York. Right? Yeah. So I'm on the subway and I would just see people. I'm looking at them like, oh, this can't be me. Everyone's in their own like box, closed off. No one looks happy. I was like, this can't be me. I don't want that. So those are the fears. And also it's like, you wonder, do I have real transferable skills for another career if it's not in basketball? Yeah. Those are the fears,
So you were also always wanting to continue being in the basketball area?
Something like that. Yeah. One of my friends, she told me, she's like, Flo, you're not always going to be a ball player, so you better start doing other stuff. So she had me doing some live TV, like sports pundit. Yeah. I would do some broadcasting. Wow. Just stuff that would like tap into my other interests so that I could build a resume. Yeah. So when I was done, it was like, all right, 15 years playing. Then what?
Exactly. Building your resume and your networking, I guess, is important for people looking to stay in the basketball, you know, worlds, I'd say. Yeah. But I definitely understand, because I was telling him earlier how stressful it can be for people to look for something else they love so much. Because I feel like people, like athletes or whatever, most of them are so passionate about what they do. They love the game. They love everything about it. But for us normal people, we just go to work to, you know, make a living or whatever. And yes, sometimes you can be passionate, but I feel like it's never the same as, you know, the feeling and the hype you guys get, because there's the arena, the fans, you guys get more appreciation, I would say, from the work that you do than people just going into office or corporate or whatever. Well, depends then.
It does depend, but I think the reason for that is because of the impact it has on other people. Yeah. So whatever you do, as long as if you're impacting people, it should drive a passion in you. Yeah. So that's what we do. Like, we get to see immediate impact. Yeah. You know, like I remember when I was coaching, when I was like, I'll coach like kids. Yeah. And then I'll give them like little nuggets of info. And at the end of the session, like one of the kids' mom would come and be like, I don't know what you told him. Like, oh my gosh, he went so hard, he was so focused. Like, like it kind of fuels you. Yeah. Or you walk into the gym, you're feeling a bit down, and then you got a bunch of kids like, like, they're happy to see you. You feed off their energy. So as long as you can do something that impacts, yes, it's always going to be a plus.
But honestly, props to you for, you know, finding your passion, and that's why I want to get into like, what did you do after basketball? Like, how did it end? Like, was it because of an injury, or what? Did you feel like it was just time for you to, you know, transition?
A bit of both. So that's what resume building. Yeah. And then we spoke off camera about when I first went to Ghana.
Yeah.
So I was like, when I went, I saw the passion in the players on the continent.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to coach, right? Because my coaches poured into me.
Okay.
And they did it because they saw I had hunger and desire.
Yeah.
So I can only give my energy to players like this.
Yeah.
And, you'll find spots of it in different places in the state. But in Africa, it was like, damn, everybody.
Yeah.
So I was like, how can I do that more? So my friend was like, why don't you just keep coming out? So like from 2015 to 2019, okay. I'll pay my own money, pay everything, I'll just come out. Anytime the NBA has an event, I'll contact them like, yo, just can I volunteer?
Oh.
So I'll come out. So I was in Ghana, South Africa, Senegal, all of that. I would just go out and start networking. And then...
Is that also the way you started, like, coming to Africa was through ball, like, wanting to volunteer and stuff?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Great.
And then it helps, my brother Lowell, he was doing so much here. So we would talk about what he's doing. He said, oh, you need to come now, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I'll come. And then he showed me, like, a different side of Africa.
Yeah.
Even though I'm African, grew up in London, there's still something.
Yeah, I know.
I'm like, no. I said, this place, they're hiding some good stuff here, And then as I'm here more and more, I'm getting an understanding of the landscape.
Yeah.
And then NBA teams are looking to branch out into Africa more. And then, you put your name out there, like, I want to get into something, and then conversation with the NBA team happens. Yeah. And they're looking for someone who's been around Africa and knows ball.
Yeah.
And then I'll be like, oh, I've been coming to Africa for the last 5 years. And I was just at this event. And I was like, can you send us some of your work? This is a funny thing. I was like, I was just at Basketball Without Borders.
Yeah.
I went online, I went to Google. I said, how do you type a scouting report? I didn't know. I didn't do one.
So, didn't get to Google.
Yeah, I went there and then I started all the notes I took, I had a notepad. I wasn't with a team at the time, a notepad. I started writing down stuff on the players.
Yeah.
Sent it to them, had interviews for a month over the phone. And it was coincidentally at the same time I was finishing my master's degree.
Okay.
So, and I was going to sign a contract in England to play one more year.
Okay.
Right? So all on the same day. That day, I finished my master's.
Yes.
And the NBA team was like, we want you to scout for us. But then they said, it's a conflict of interest. You can't play and scout.
Oh, okay.
So I was like...
You have to choose.
So when they sent the contract, I was like, damn. I didn't sign it for 2 weeks because I had to say goodbye to basketball.
Yeah.
And then that was the toughest part. You have to say goodbye.
Yes.
What's it going to be?
Yeah.
And then scouting fulfilled part of it. But then when coaching came out, about in 2020, just after the COVID stuff.
Yeah.
And then Lowell called me. The funny conversation was, he's like, yo, we got going on in London right now. I said, bro, it's lockdown.
Yeah.
Everything's shut down. I'm not traveling, nothing. He's like, I'm taking over the national team. Wow. He said, I was doing his camps before for the last 4 years.
Okay.
He said, I need a coach that can reach the players. You free? I said, sure.
Oh, wow.
Fly tomorrow?
Have good friends.
Yeah. I said, can you fly tomorrow? I said, tomorrow? I said, where? To Rwanda. And I was like,
that's your first time to Rwanda?
2 days later, I was out here. And then the way I coach, I'm like, player development. I get to be on the court. I still get to feel that.
Yes.
I get to live vicariously through the players. One of the best feelings for coaching for me is I've experienced and I felt what they felt. And then just to see them, I stand to the side
and you're proud and...
Oh yeah, when the crowd is cheering for them, I stand to the side yo,
you're
embrace that, man.
Wow.
That's how it streamlined for me, but that was only because the last few years of my career, I was building the
whole the networking and everything. Yeah. So that's basically because I had another question of how do you stay connected to the game, but I feel like you kind of answered that by pouring into others, going, supporting them through their own.
You should be. I learned you have to be intentional with some of the things you want to do.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, people just think you're a player. All you want to do is play.
Yeah.
What are your other interests? Talk to people, then they might be able to connect you in different places. So.
Yeah. So we always need other people, actually.
You can't do it. No one man is an island. I mean, it takes an island as a man to build yourself. Yeah. Build some of those things to fortify those tools, but then you're going to have to start branching out and then using people to help.
Oh, that's beautiful. Do you actually feel like now you've kind of found your purpose, would you say?
It's growing. It's not there yet. It's growing.
Okay. But like through doing, you're finding.
Yes.
Okay. That's great.
Yeah.
I want to dive into like the part, honestly, I think you kind of also responded to this one. If you could go back and talk to your 20-year-old self, what would you say?
20.
Yeah. Like 20-year-old, 18-year-old, like, you know.
About what? Exactly.
Like, honestly, about life. Because, you know, you have so many expectations, whether it was like for basketball, whether it was, you know, for your family, your friends, whatever. Like, what would you...
Okay. For basketball, two things easy.
Yeah.
Stretch and do mobility work more.
Oh.
So I think that could have prevented some injuries, because I was always, my position was strength.
Okay.
I was quick, but it was strong up.
Yeah.
That's a lot of wear on the body. So that's number one. Two, for basketball is, I'm like, Flo, shoot the damn ball, bro. I said, shoot the ball. I would have said that. I probably could have played longer. You said relationships, or we're not talking about that?
Oh, even...
No.
Okay, that's maybe more private, but even like on aspect of relationships, but not like romantically, but even like to your family and everything, because sometimes you expect these people to be in your life. Like, did you lose some of the friendships, or maybe you fall out with people you thought, you know, were gonna be there your whole life?
I didn't really. My people that were supposed to be there were there.
Okay.
And then the people that, even though I lost contact, when you reconnect,
it's like,
I was like, yes. So the people that weren't supposed to be there weren't there. I've been protected. I remember just when I was in England, right?
Yeah.
I was there playing half a season. I was at a grocery store just checking out. Then the lady at the checkout counter, she looked at me. She was like, "You look like you're covered with prayer." I'm like, so I was like, huh, really? So like somebody's been praying hard for you that you're not
is that Mama?
from the bad things. I called my shit. I was like, so I've been protected in that. So I would say like I've been through some bad stuff, but you know, the Most High has helped not for it to be as bad.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I just want to ask you more about like Rwanda. What was your, you know, did you come with expectations? Were you, no?
I had no idea. I had none. First thing I noticed was how clean the streets were.
Yeah.
I play a game like Spot the Trash. I'm looking like, nope. The only place I've been like that was in Japan. Japan was super,
they're usually super clean.
So I was really shocked. Because, you know, my first time on the continent was Ghana and then Cameroon, and it wasn't like this. The people were very calm here, friendly. I know it's part of, like, obviously the landscape, Land of a Thousand Hills.
Yeah.
I'm like, I stand outside and I'll just look. And I'm like, damn, this place is beautiful.
Yeah.
And then obviously, if you want to find a wife, you can find one. You can find one. I mean, we talk about the how attractive and feminine a lot of the women are here. Very, very refreshing. Like I would take that back, and I tell my guys, like, "Oh, you need to."
Rwanda is the place.
I'm telling you, like, they're not saying visit Rwanda for no reason. The slogan is.
You gave visit Rwanda a new meaning. Okay, visit Rwanda.
Yeah, it's like you'll find some calm. Peace.
Yeah, that's great. So now it's the last question actually. Okay. I wanted you to, you know, we have a lot of young people following me. Yeah. Some play basketball, some don't. But is there any words of encouragement in just finding what you love, or, you know, all those things like life, like what they should do with their life? Because some of them, you know, they aim, I don't know, I want to play like until I'm 40, I want to do this and that. Some of them are still struggling to find their purpose, maybe.
I mean, you find your purpose to whatever you're passionate about, and your passion doesn't have to lie with one thing. It can be multiple things. So once you find, and what is your passion? It's things that you gravitate towards doing, reading, watching.
Yes.
When you got idle time.
Yeah.
And then what's the next step? How can I turn that into a profession? Can I get paid from doing that? Is there like avenues, like, you know, income from that? The second part is, I'd say, is once you find that, you have to work at it so diligently. And the best way to do that is you have to ask yourself, remember those conversations with you now, younger self, older self, if I don't pursue it, especially if it's a career with a very short shelf life.
Yeah.
Basketball players are short shelf life. What, you turn pro, 19, some people?
Yeah.
You finish at 39, whatever, 20 years. If you're lucky.
Yeah, if you're lucky.
It's usually 7 to 10 years overseas,
wow.
right? Then what? Can you look back and be like, if only, it's true. Then you start looking at people who are kind of doing or living the life that you would like to.
Yeah.
And see what paths they took. Reach out, like really dig into them. Some people are accessible, you can talk to them. You may not be doing the same thing, but something in that kind of realm,
Mentorship, like the importance. Okay, I see. Well, thank you so much, Dzaflo.
Thank you, Jo.
Thank you. I just want to thank Sheraton again for allowing us to shoot at their Cocoa Fest. So if you guys want to come and grab a drink, enjoy a good afternoon, you can definitely come and try it out. I also want to thank Amela, who gave me this beautiful t-shirt. So if you're looking for a random brand, to just try out their t-shirts, it's cotton, it's thick quality. So thank you so much, guys. See you next time. And also, for the people, I want to ask you, can you please comment how old do you think Dzaflo is? Black don't crack. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.